I found two iPods outside in a fire pit at an abandoned property. Can they be revived? Find out soon. Hi guys, welcome back to the Hugh video, and in this video I'm going to be attempting to revive two abandoned iPod classics that I found in a fire pit. At first inspection, the iPods are rusty, corroded, and one is even bent with missing screws, back and hard drive. These iPods were found on my friend's abandoned property who used to be occupied by his grandparents. The house was abandoned in February of 2012 and has since fallen into disrepair. It's overridden with bees and other animals. Someone unknown to my friend has dumped loads of unwanted goods on the property. Some of the stuff we found was a Sega Mega Drive. I believe this one here is a remake of the original, and I believe this one is the original. I found two of those, one which was smashed. Also found an old phone and some computer parts, which were just mostly cheap keyboards and mice. I also did find an Arduino in here, so I have no idea if that works yet, as I haven't tested any of those out. Of course, I also found the two iPod classics in that fire pit, which was a little bit separate from where I found the rest of the stuff. And that is what I'm going to be focusing on in this video. When I was last out here back in April of 2017, I actually found a back to one of these iPod classics, although I couldn't find the rest of the iPod. Almost 2 years later, I came back with my friend and we managed to find not only the rest of the iPod, but another iPod classic. If you guys want me to post the full video and test out some of the other things I got, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Back in the studio, we can take a closer look at the iPods and checking up the model number. These are both 7th generation iPod classics. Both iPods look abused and show signs of being exposed to water, as they were obviously left outside. Before I can even try to power on these iPod classics, I first have to disassemble them and give them a good clean and try and remove all the corrosion I can from the board, if any is on there. Given these have been left out in the rain, there's definitely going to be some damage in terms of corrosion and water damage to the boards. So of course I removed the logic board from the iPod classic. You can see the frame actually just broke away on the first one, but with the second one, because it hasn't been opened before, it required a lot of prying and forced to open it up. Now the actual front and back of the iPod, because it's been left outside, actually sort of fused together a little bit, so it made it even more difficult to open up the iPod Classic. I believe the iPod Classics are just difficult to open as they contain large clips which hold the front panel onto the back of the device. But using a couple of big pry tools, I was able to get a big enough gap, and slowly I worked around releasing those clips on the iPod, which eventually started to lift away from the frame. Now be careful, because there is cables underneath this, so if you are doing this at home, just watch out for that, as the last person who opened up the other iPod obviously didn't notice and ripped the cable clean off. Opening up the iPod for the first time will reveal all of the damage inside. You can see just how much dirt, soot and other stuff from that fire pit and just the weather has gotten into the iPod Classic. You can see that it's all rusted on the hard drive itself, and just lifting it up, it falls right out of its connector. Now I'm not sure whether the connector is worn away in this, as the other iPod Classic has a locking mechanism, whereas this one doesn't, so I believe that's worn away with the corrosion and the water. Now that I've got the iPod open, I can disconnect the one cable which connects the back to the logic board of the iPod. Taking a closer look at the logic board itself, you can see all the corrosion and damage to that board, which we're going to try and fix up to hopefully revive this iPod Classic. Now that we've removed the back panel of the iPod, we can start to disassemble it to the bare bones, so we can treat the logic board of the iPod, hopefully removing all the corrosion and fixing the iPod. So first I have to disconnect the LCD and remove the 6 screws, 3 on each side, to release the front panel from the mid-frame of the iPod Classic. Given that mine was so corroded, I had to go very slowly and carefully with this process, because stripping the screws would result in not being able to remove that front panel. With the screws removed, I can insert another pry tool to separate the front panel from the mid-frame of the iPod Classic. With the front panel removed, it will reveal the other side of the logic board. You can see just how beaten up and rusty that front panel is. You can see that the LCD on this iPod Classic actually had some water over it, and dusting it off, you can see here that there is a whole heap of dead pixels, and that LCD is definitely damaged in some sort of way. Removing the LCD from the iPod Classic, we have almost a bare bones iPod, which is good enough for the treatment process. Pulling apart these iPods made a complete mess of dirt and grime all over my desk, but now that we have them back to the bare bones unit, we can now put them in a special solution, which is literally just isopropyl alcohol. So I just got this clear plastic tub, put the iPods in, and poured the isopropyl alcohol all over it. Now I believe that's how it's pronounced, although don't quote me on that. Now I can just let the iPods soak in the solution for a few minutes before giving them a scrub over with an old toothbrush to hopefully remove as much corrosion and rust as possible from the logic boards of the device. This will give them the best chance of revival, and hopefully we'll have some functioning iPod Classics. At first I did the white iPod Classic 7th generation, and you can see underneath that click wheel it is extremely dirty. And there's corrosion all over the front of the iPod. The solution of isopropyl alcohol easily removes all of the dirt and grime and adhesive that held in the LCD. The stuff is very good at cleaning, so hopefully this will fix up the iPod Classic. It's important to not scrub too hard, or you could dislodge some components. Moving along to the black iPod Classic, I could give it a scrub down, just like I did with the first iPod. It's not as dirty, as I believe the fact that the back and hard drive had been removed, all the water that went into it could easily evaporate compared to the sealed iPod. Now that the solution had dried, we can take a look at both iPods and inspect them for any corrosion on the board. If any is found, I just have to repeat the same process until they're completely clean. As you can see, they're looking quite nice, so I reckon it's time to try these out and see if we get any life out of them. So firstly, I'm going to be assembling the black iPod Classic, and for those wondering about why it had a missing hard drive and back, I believe the hard drive was faulty, and they've removed that, whoever owned this before, and then couldn't fix it, so they threw out the iPod. Now I actually found the back to this iPod back in April of 2017. It's now January of 2019. We went out the other day and I thought, hey, I'm going to have a look and see if I can find the rest of the iPod, and I actually found this one and of course the other one. Plugging it in after reassembling it, I can actually see the battery flat symbol. Turning down the light a bit, you can see it better, and it's saying to connect to power. I honestly can't believe that it powered on, as it spent months and months outside in the rain and the elements. So it's now time to reassemble the white iPod and see if it has any life out of it. So reconnecting up its LCD, we can plug it back in and see how it goes. Flipping it over and connecting up the 30-pin cable, we see nothing. Unfortunately, nothing appeared on the display, so I gave the 30-pin connector a little bit of a clean, as it didn't seem to be plugging in all the way. Reconnecting the 30-pin cable, we still got nothing unfortunately, so this iPod doesn't seem to be showing any signs of life. But the other iPod, well, it's charged enough it actually booted up. The battery port was being a little bit dodgy, as it was missing one of the locking connectors which keeps the battery from unplugging. I tested out the screen from the white iPod on the black iPod and noticed that it was completely dead. So of course I swapped the screen from the black iPod to the white iPod just to make sure the screen wasn't stopping the iPod from turning on. Unfortunately, that didn't make any difference and the iPod still remained dead. Oh well, we still got one iPod functioning, which is not bad for something that's been left out in the weather. I tried to straighten out the frame as best I could before I reassembled the device. Obviously it needs a full restoration, but just for today I'll put it back into its housing so I don't lose all the parts and components. Now I accidentally broke the battery connector off of the other white iPod Classic. It was very fragile and just fell off because it was corroded from all that water. So I actually took the little brown plastic piece off of it which locks in the battery and reinstalled it on the black iPod, which now will actually hold in the battery so it won't disconnect like it was before. Obviously when it was disassembled by the last owner, they broke that and the battery would never connect properly back again. With that now in place, I can reinstall the frame, LCD and logic board, and I gave a couple of screws into the side just to stop it falling apart. I don't have a hard drive to go on this as the old one is completely toast, but the iPod does function, and powering it up, you can see that it has enough juice to display something without it even being connected to the charger. Connecting it to the charger for a while, it shows the Apple logo and continues to boot with a giant X on the screen, and tells you to go to Apple's support website. Now this is because there's no hard drive in the iPod. You can see that the LCD is also broken on half the screen, which is a bit of a pain, so that needs to be replaced as well. If you guys want to see a full restoration video on this iPod, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I will be buying some parts and doing up this iPod and restoring it back to fully functional condition. As for the other iPod, I decided to clean it up as best I could just to see how much of that corrosion would come off. So out to the laundry it was. I scrubbed away at it with a toothbrush and some soapy water to try and get as much of the dirt and grime off of the iPod housing as I could. This was as best as I could get it. It's very corroded still, but is slightly better than before. As you can see with the back housing, that is just filled with dirt, so I washed that under the tap and gave that a bit of a scrub like the front. This turned out a lot better as most of this was just dirt, which washed away quite easily. And after drying it, it looks pretty good compared to what it was. So to conclude, we've got one black iPod Classic that powers on but has a faulty LCD, it needs a hard drive and could probably do with a housing and battery replacement. As for the silver one, it shows absolutely no signs of life, unfortunately, so that's kind of a dead end there. As for the black one, I will be fixing that up in a later video, so make sure you stick around for that. Now I'm uncertain how long these iPods were out in the weather. It's been 21 months since I was last out there and found the back to this iPod, so it's been at least that long. Now, it surprises me that it still turns on after I revived it, but the battery even holds a charge, and I was able to charge it up and have it run off its own power, which is pretty neat. I look forward to repairing this iPod in the future, but for today, that's all for this iPod. If you guys want to see the full tour of the abandoned place and maybe some of the other things that we found, I will post some pictures of it on my social media, so go check me out on my social media. Link for that will be down in the description. And let me know what you think of this revival, as well as whether you want to see that video or not. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffries video. If you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button and consider checking out some of my other videos. Also follow me on my social media, link for that will be down in the description. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.